Alright, so here is a quick video on the unit circle. Alright, so the unit circle, the reason it's called the unit circle is because at any point on this circle, the radius from the center to the edge is just 1. So for this entire thing, radius is equal to just 1. Alright, now some of the important points that we should know are 30 degrees, 45 degrees, and 60 degrees. Alright, and then also, of course, 90, 0, 180, 270, and 360. Alright, so we have 30, 45, 60, and 90. Now, really the points that we need to know, the parts that we really need to know about the unit circle, really we just need to know this top right-hand quadrant. That's really all we need to know, okay, about this entire thing, and you've probably heard that before from your teacher, that you should just memorize this top right-hand quadrant. Now, my goal here is really not to have you memorize this right-hand quadrant, but to just know how to create the right-hand quadrant. And if you know how to make this quadrant, you can make all the other quadrants. But if you are stuck in the middle of a test and you're freaking out and you can't memorize it, don't memorize it. That's really just a waste of time. There's very few things that you really need to know, and after that, you're good to go, and you don't need anything else. Alright, so let's go ahead and start. So these are degrees here. So 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, and 90 degrees. Alright, so degrees is really just if you have some line coming out of the center, right? You have these lines coming out of the center. They make some angle with this horizontal line, okay? So it'll be, 30 degrees here, or 60 degrees between, this top line and the horizontal. Really doesn't matter, alright? We don't need to know, all of these angles, but it's really simple to know them, okay? We don't need to memorize them, but it's simple to know them. You have 90 degrees here. All you would do is, add 30. If you add 30 again, so 90 plus 30, that's going to be 120. You add 30 again, it's going to be 150. Add 30 again, it's 180. 30 and 30, we have 210 here, 240, 270. Over here we have 300, and the last one, 330, and then of course 360. Right? And then if we go with the 45, 90 plus 45 is 135. Then of course 45 plus 135 is 180. 180 plus 45 is 225. 225 plus 45 is 270. Plus 45 is 315. Alright, and there we go. We have all of our degrees here on our unit circle. Okay. Now the other part that you need to know, that your teacher's probably told you that you need to memorize, is the radians around the circle. Now this is the part where you really just need to know. You don't need to memorize it, you just need to know it. Just these two parts right here, pi over 6 and pi over 4. And that's it, you're done. You know everything that you need to know about the unit circle. And the reason is, pi over 6, all you need to do, pi over 6 plus pi over 6 is the same idea as 30 plus 30. So pi over 6 plus pi over 6 is going to get us over here, so that's going to get us 2 pi over 6. Add 30 again, puts you at 90. Add pi over 6, puts you at 90. So pi over 6 plus 2 pi over 6 is going to give us 3 pi over 6, which is just pi over 2. Which makes sense, because we've already been told if this is 0 radians, you come around, this is pi over 2 radians, that means this over here is pi radians. Alright? And radians, you've already been told this, radians is just the distance that you've traveled around the circle. As you travel around this circle, radians is just, the actual distance. And you remember this from elementary school, you have circumference is equal to 2 pi r. And this is where this comes from. This is a circle of radius 1, so if we do 2 pi times 1, circumference is 2 pi. Alright, you've already been told this. This is probably one of the ones that your teacher told you to memorize. Alright, so this is going to be pi over 2 plus pi will give us 3 pi. Yes, 3 pi over 2, because this is going to be 2 pi over 2. So this will be over here 3 pi over 2. Right, and these are these important values that you need to know. And you can sit there and go around and add, or you can just count. This is 1 pi over 6, 2 pi over 6, 3 pi over 6, 4 pi over 6, 5 pi over 6, 6 pi over 6, 7 pi over 6, 8 pi over 6, 9 pi over 6, 10 pi over 6, 11 pi over 6, and 12 pi over 6. And of course you can add the, pi over 6. That's kind of the not important part, because we know that one. That's just what goes around all the way around. So you can do that, and you can add these pi's over 6's all over all of these. Alright, so same thing with pi over 4. Pi over 4 plus pi over 4 is pi over 2. So this is going to be 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, 6 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4. And this is 8 pi over 4, which just reduces to 2 pi. Alright, so these are all of our radians. You didn't have to memorize anything. All you need to know are these guys over here. Let's get that. That's supposed to be blue. There we go. These guys over here. Alright, these are the only numbers that you really need to know. Pi over 4 and pi over 6. And then know that they just, as you add them around, pi over 4 signifies 1/4 of this top, half of a circle, right? This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you continue going around, you just add up pi over 4 until you get back to the beginning. Now, if you've seen these problems where your teacher gives you where else is, let's see, what's a good one? 9 pi over 4. Where is 9 pi over 4, right? And you get this problem, and you're like, oh my god, I don't know where 9 pi over 4 is. You can just count. You go 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And guess what? Pi over 4 is equal to 9 pi over 4. At least when it comes to the position. This actual position right here, pi over 4, is the same as 9 pi over 4. They're not equal, obviously, because 9 pi over 4, you traveled the entire, circumference of this circle plus pi over 4. Alright? And that's really simple. All you have to do is go around this thing and count. Best trick you'll probably learn with the unit circle is just counting around the edge. Alright, now the next thing you're going to need to know, and this is the next thing that your teacher will expect you to know, is the coordinates as you go around. Alright, so this coordinate here, let's change colors again. This coordinate over here, of course, is 1, 0. Alright, and this coordinate up here at the top is 0, 1. Alright, and this goes for this, the 90-degree spot. This coordinate over here is -1, 0, and over here is 0, -1. And your teacher's going to want you to know what are these coordinates. What is the coordinate at pi over 6? What is this? What's this coordinate? And if you remember back in geometry, your teacher would tell you to, if you had a 30, 60, 90 triangle, to memorize that if this is a length 1, if the hypotenuse is a length 1, and they want you to just know and memorize what these values are going to be. And they just happen to be √3 over 2 and 1/2. But notice how this 30, 60, 90 triangle fits. Alright, so we have all our angles here. It's 30, 60, 90 triangle. So that means if you've gone over √3 over 2, right, over here, you've gone √3 over 2 on the x-axis, and up 1/2 on the y-axis. This right here is 1/2. Right? So if you've gone up 1/2 and over 3 over 2, √3 over 2, guess what? This coordinate right here is √3 over 2, did that backwards. It is 1 over 2, √3 over 2. And this is because it goes, I had it right the first time. Alright, so this coordinate here is, because this goes up 1/2, your y value is going to be 1/2, and your x value is √3 over 2, because you went over √3 over 2 and up 1/2, and that's your coordinate. Now, your teacher's going to have you memorize these. They're going to tell you just memorize these points and you're good. But there's an easy way to know them, to memorize as little as possible, right? And the way that you do that is, you make all your little parentheses over here. Make those, and we know that these are all fractions, and all of these fractions happen to have a 2 on the bottom. So that makes it really simple. 2 on all the bottom of these. So now you count down from the top. You go 3, 2, 1, and then you count down from the bottom. So you go 3, 2, 1. So 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Alright, and then square root signs over the 3's and the 2's. And if you want, you can add a square root over the 1, but the square root of 1 is just, square root of 1 is just 1. And that's not exciting. So now, we have these values here, and these are our points. These are the points that we need to memorize. So now, let's check this out. Let's kind of play with these a little bit. This point right here, remember how I said, this is 1/2. This y value here is 1/2. So if you go across all the way over here, that means this y value over here is also 1/2. This y value is also 1/2. And the x value, this distance here, is also root 3 over 2, except we are on the other side of the x-axis. So this is going to be negative root 3 over 2. And you can do that with all these points. You can come over here, and this is going to be negative root 2 over 2, this is going to be positive root 2 over 2. Alright, and the important thing to remember is that this quadrant up here is going to be negative x and positive y. This quadrant is going to be negative x and negative y. And this quadrant over here is going to be positive and negative. Alright, and then of course this one's just positive and positive. Alright, so that's really all you need to know to memorizing the unit circle. And don't forget, as this point comes down, this point over here is also just root 3 over 2, comma 1 over 2, negative. Alright, so this is really simple, really easy to memorize, and the best way to practice this is just to draw yourself a unit circle. Just do it. Just get a blank piece of paper from the printer, whatever, get something that's like, kind of circular in shape, draw a circle on your paper, and everything else you can just draw. Do this and throw it in the front of your binder, the front of your geometry folder, algebra 2 folder, whatever, and you will have it, and it helps out a lot, and you're going to be using this throughout the semester. Alright, so good luck on your homework, guys.